Hey, I'm Srini, host and founder of the Unmistakable Creative Podcast and the creator of Maximize Your Output with Mem. And in this video, what I'm going to show you how to do is to use Mem's new collections feature to create and use collections so that you can automatically organize your notes. And if you haven't checked it out, be sure to check out our free ultimate guide to building a second brain in Mem. I'll include a link in the description below. Now, let's get to the tutorial. What I want to go over in this video is how to create and use collections in Mem. Collections is a new feature that Mem just released recently, and it's basically a replacement for tags, but it helps you automate the process of organizing and categorizing your notes. And I'm going to go over a couple of different use cases. We're going to talk about how you create a new collection, how you add existing mems to a new collection, or how you take multiple mems and put them into a collection, as well as how you merge different collections. So creating a collection is fairly straightforward. So the way you create a collection is you click on the All Collections drop down here. And if you go here, you'll see that if you have tags inside of Mem, those are now organized into collections. But in this case, what we're going to do is we're just going to create a new collection. And I'm just going to call this collection Notes on Decision Making. And one of the cool things that works really well with this collections feature is that you can see here that Mem is already suggesting things to add to this collection. So you actually get recommendations for what might be worth adding to a collection. So you actually don't have to think about it yourself. So basically we've created a very simple collection just titled Notes on Decision Making. And basically it pulled any content that had stuff that I've written about making decisions. So that's how you create a new collection from scratch. So now what I want to show you how to do is to add mems to an existing collection. One thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a search for the phrase artificial intelligence. And you can see here, because I already have a lot of notes that are tagged as artificial intelligence, these are all part of my artificial intelligence collection. And what you'll see here is that I can add more to this collection. And Mem will actually suggest things for me to add, and I can do a search, or sometimes it'll just generate recommended notes. So I'm just going to go ahead and put the term artificial intelligence into here. And you can see here that what it's doing is it's giving me, as it did with the decision-making option, the ability to add these mems to this collection. So I can just go ahead and click add. So where this becomes useful is if, say, for example, you're working on a project and you come across a new piece of content or something that leads to a note, then you can create a collection using that note. Now, one other thing we can do in addition to this is we can add multiple mems to a collection. So what we can do is, for example, you can see here it's giving us the option to remove these from the collection. But let's just say that we did another search for creativity, for example. So let's say we do a search for creativity. What you can see here is it then brings up all these different notes about creativity. And what I can do then is I can basically say, you know what, I'm going to add these to a note called Notes on Creativity, or collection called Notes on Creativity. And so now I have this collection that is titled Notes on Creativity. And so now we've got a collection. So anything that gets tagged as Notes on Creativity ends up being part of that collection. So you've seen how we can add recommended mems to a collection. We can add multiple mems to a collection at the same time just by clicking on the icon and selecting the mems that you want to use in your collection. Then finally, the last thing that we can do is we can actually merge different collections together. So often what ends up happening is that we end up overusing tags way too much. And as a result, you have all these tags, and you can see that this is one of those do as I say, not do as I've done here situations. What I could do is I could say, you know what, I'm going to add or merge two different collections together. I could say, okay, lessons from guests 2023, and I'm going to just merge it with this collection on emotional labor. And the nice thing is that we can either select a existing collection or we can merge them to create a new collection. So in this case, I'm going to say lessons on life and emotional labor. And what it'll do is it will merge those two collections, but it'll remove the label that the existing collections have. Now, I'm not going to do that in this case, just because this can't be undone and it's a pain. But basically what that's useful for is cleaning up your tags. So let's say you've just used way too many tags, for example. Here, for example, I could say, you know what, I can just combine my stuff on attention capital theory and prioritization and productivity into another collection titled productivity and attention management. And then I wouldn't have too many tags. So you can see here, I have an entire collection as well that's titled the creator economy. Basically anything that is tagged as creator economy will go in here. But let's say I wanted to create a subset of this. What I could do is I could just go in here and I can say, you know what, I'm going to create a subset collection within the creator economy and give this a new name. Here it's giving me the option to remove these from this collection because they're part of this collection already. But if you wanted to, what you can do is you can actually add them to a collection, and Mem will suggest collections here as well that you could add them to. So collections end up being useful for several reasons. It makes it easy to consolidate notes from multiple projects into one collection. You can find related mems, and you can group notes on different topics together. And it just automates the process of organizing information inside of Mem without overdoing the tagging or not having to think too much about what you should tag your note as. And as always, if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below.